how do you know if you should get initiated? You should feel the call, right? It's like a calling. Like, you know how in the church they'll say, many are chosen, a few, and few are called, many are chosen, some shit like that. Like, you know, you should feel the call. You should feel the call. It's like a calling. You will know because you can't run from it. You can't turn from it. I'll tell you this. If you know me from YouTube, you know this story, okay? Buru Boye, how you doing? How you doing? That's a traditional Ifa greeting, y'all. But the thing is, right, when you know you are called, because your whole life is going to shift and going to change, okay? But it may not be how you want it. It may not be how you want it. Now, when I was in South Africa, right, I was studying and understanding the Sangomas. The Sangomas are the traditional healers in South Africa, okay? So I was studying and understanding the Sangomas. And what I learned that many of them experience when they get the calling is you get an ancestral calling. And if you ignore that ancestral calling, you will start to become physically sick and you will start to lose. Okay, so you start losing, assets and things in your life. You start becoming physically ill. And until you answer this call, you will not be healed. Okay, so when someone starts becoming very ill, when someone starts losing a lot of things in their life, they'll send them to a Sangoma, and a Sangoma will tell them whether or not they have the call. And if the call is the reason why they're losing and they're becoming ill. I've heard of some people having kidney issues and things like that, like very detrimental illnesses. And it wasn't until they answered the call that they became healed. Salam, please. Thank you. Y'all, this is who y'all see. This is the wig. Okay, bye wig. His name is Salam. My dog is Salam, but I call him Diddy because he always trying to be all up in the video. Okay? But yes, so you will know you have the call in a couple ways. When you feel that strong urge, everything in you is leading you towards a specific ATR. Okay, and if you continue to ignore it, you will notice that you will start to lose. And it's not until you answer that call that you will be able to regain your wellness. Okay, so you cannot run from the call. It's all around you. That's how you will know that you need to go get initiated or start your initiation process. Now, before even starting your initiation process, I advise that you go study first. And the reason I say go study is because there are many African traditional religions. There are many African diaspora traditional religions. There are many. You need to study all of them, or as many as you can, to know which one is for you. And when I say study, I mean you need to study the history. You need to study the people. You need to study some of the practices. You need to study some of the rules and laws as much as you can, as much as available before initiation. Because religion is religion is religion. What did I say in the beginning? Spirituality is the relationship that you have with the divine source and your higher self, and how you connect the two, how you connect your inner higher self, your inner divine source, we call that the Ori, to the higher source, right? To God energy. How do you connect the two? And you can have a variety of spiritual practices from all over. But religion is a set of prescribed practices and morals and values. Religion is religion. You need to study the set of prescribed practices and morals and values, because as I was saying earlier, when they made the comment about Christianity and being gay, some ATRs have similar beliefs. I talked about this before, where I let y'all know that when you get initiated, there are certain questions you need to ask your godparents to know if they are the godparents for you, and to know if this is the Elay for you. Because I appreciate the likes, y'all. Thank you. Because there are not any set laws and practices in any ATR that are free of some bullshit, basically. Okay? And when let me give you some examples. You know how in the Christian church, There's some people believe that women can't be in the pulpit. That's still a belief to this day. My mother was my mother had got ordained as a Baptist minister at one point, and she battled this. Okay, I witnessed this firsthand. Some churches believe that a woman can't be in the pulpit. If you grew up Christian, you know that. They'll tell you a woman can't be in the pulpit. Yes, they all got their pros and cons. In some ATRs, they believe that a woman cannot receive a full hand of Ifa. That's a part of initiation. You receive your hand of Ifa. They give you what's called a hand of Kofa, which is a half hand. Because a woman cannot carry that much ashe. She cannot carry that much power. Some of them believe that. Now I'm telling y'all the true, okay? So you can save yourself the hurt and the heartache. Okay? In some ATRs, men of a certain rank, some babas can have multiple wives. If you are not a person who believes in polyamory or polygamy, that may not be the ATR for you. If you are a woman and you feel the call to become a priestess, you need to ask, okay, well, how high are you willing to initiate a woman? What is the highest level I can go in this Ile? The Ile is a spiritual house, right? So ATRs have Iles, right? So you have like a Babalawo, or Iowalo who has like a spiritual house, who has an Ile, right? And they take on God children and they help them get initiated, you know. It could be a Baba Larisha, but a Baba Larisha is not necessarily doing initiations of Abarishas, right? They work with, you know, Babas and Iyas, okay? So there's levels in ATRs, right? So we have to consider that when you are joining a spiritual house, these are questions you need to ask. If you are a woman, how high are you willing to initiate me? Okay? If you are a man, and you, or any person, I should say, if you are any person and you just so happen to be LGBTQ plus, you need to ask the one question. I always say, this needs to be a go-to question. How do you feel about initiating trans women? Their response will tell you everything you need to know. Because some ATRs, no. Some ATRs do not believe or value the LGBTQ plus community. They don't. They also believe that it's a sin, it's a mental illness, all of that. Some ATRs prescribe to that belief. Okay? So they will not initiate you, or they will initiate you but only take you to a certain level. So those are questions that you need to ask. Okay? So a lot of people, that's why I always say, you know, you really got to research and you really got to study and you really got to, like, you know, take the rose-colored glasses off. A lot of people run to ATRs and they're super excited and they think because, oh, this is the root. This is from Africa. Yes, it is. It's the root. It's from Africa. But it's still a religion. It's still a religion, babes. It still has a lot of religious things going on, babes. It's still... You know, so you need to study. This is why I say before you get initiated, study. Because what happens a lot, y'all, just like the church, and you got church hoppers, you got ATR hoppers too. You got Ile hoppers too. You got folks that will tell you, oh, I was initiated Lukumi, and then I moved to traditional Ifa, and then I moved to Voodoo, and now I'm looking at Santeria, and I'm looking at, I think I want to do Hoodoo. I think I just want to do Hoodoo. You will have ATR hoppers, and it's no shade, because when I see an ATR hopper, I don't think that my mind doesn't go to, you know, you're doing this for negative things. I just feel like you probably didn't fully study before you got initiated. You have a habit of just jumping in head first. You're an impulsive person. So you hear something, you get attracted to it, and you think, oh, this is for me, and you just jump straight into initiation. And then as you got into the religion, you studied, and you realized that this ain't for me. You studied and realized that because you're a woman, they only gonna let you go so far, so now you want to do something else. You studied and realized that, oh, you started discovering new things about yourself and realized that you are pansexual or bisexual, and this ATR doesn't condone that, so now you gotta hop to something else, okay? To prevent you from having to hop to ATR to ATR to ATR, I advise that you study yourself and study them. As you are studying the ATRs, you need to connect with your Ori. Your Ori, as I said earlier, is your higher self, your inner divine self. Okay, that's the crown chakra, your Ori. Your Ori, the power of the Ori comes through the power of the divine alignment. So this is when chakra work comes in, right? Chakra work. So you have to study your crown in order to enhance the ashe of your crown, enhance the ashe of your divine higher self. You have to align from the root up. So understand the power of your crown, and you need to work your way down and work your way back up. Understand where you are balanced and not balanced. Study your energy. Study who you are. Study your internal lack and your internal prosperities. What areas of yourself are you doing well in? What areas of yourself are you prospering in? And what areas of yourself do you not quite know? What areas of yourself do you not know? What areas of yourself are you not aware of? That's what you got to study. Okay? So you connect with your inner divine self. A good godparent is not going to initiate you until you have studied your Ori and you have connected with your Ori. A good godparent is not going to initiate you until you have connected with your higher self. Simply because to carry the ashe of Orisha is a heavy power. I don't want to call it a burden. I was going to say a heavy burden, but it's not a burden, but it's a heavy responsibility to carry. So before you can carry the power, the ashe of Orisha, you need to be able to carry your own power. If you can't even hold the weight of your own power, of your own ashe, how can you carry and hold the weight of the power of the Orisha? Or of the Lawao, if you're interested in voodoo? How can you carry the power of them? Okay? So that's what it's about. If you have no self-control over your own power, over your own Ori, how can you have control when you have the ashe, the power of the Orisha? So that's why you have to connect with your Ori. I'm going to tell you red flags that we look for. Okay, when you're working with godchildren and you looking... And you got somebody who's young and vibrant and they excited and all they want to talk about is, if they play with me, I'm a hex them. They do something to me, I'm a root them. You're not ready for the ashe of the Orisha because you can't play with Orisha like that. Okay, you can't play with Orisha like that. ATRs are not about hexing people and putting negative roots on people. That's not what this is about. That's a confusion. That's a misnomer that a lot of people have. Okay? That's not what this is about. We're not talking about using this for evil. We're talking about using this for wellness. We're not talking about using this for hurt or harm. We're talking about using this for wellness. You don't do those things unless you truly have to. Unless you are truly in danger. You know why? Because we also believe in karma. We believe that the energy you put out is the energy you get back. So when you put a root on somebody to cause illness or harm to them, that is going to come back to you, babes. You trying to do some magic, some spell work on somebody to cause them danger, to cause them death. Don't be surprised when it comes back to you, when it comes back to your children. Okay? You trying to do a love spell on somebody so you can control their free will. Don't be surprised when you lack control, when you feel out of control. That energy has come back to you. So you got to understand your own power, and you got to have control. You got to have discipline. If you don't have no self-discipline, you don't need to get initiated, babes, because you need to have discipline. Because you know why? When you are initiated, you have obligations. You have requirements. You are held accountable. Orisha want their offering. Orisha need to be fed. So when you are initiated, if you are not doing what you're supposed to do, you will suffer the spiritual consequences of your lack of physical action. You need to feed your Orisha. There are certain days of the week that you have to do certain things. If you have no discipline before initiation, you don't need to carry ashe of the Orisha, because you are not going to be disciplined and do your job, do your work. So that's why a good godparent is going to have you connect to your Orisha. I appreciate it. Thank you. They're going to have you connect to your Ori. They're going to have you connect to your divine self, your higher self. They're going to see how well you practice self-control, how well you practice self-discipline. They're going to see what is your true reason, what are your true intentions for getting into this. So that's why the initiation process takes a while. A godparent courts you. You court the godparent, and the godparent courts you. I told y'all before, I got a sister right now. She's being courted by a godparent. She's been courted for 2 years. This is her second year of courtship with her potential new godparent. This is not a quick process. A good initiation is not a quick process. And I know to some people, yes, you will be tested, Ashe. I know to some people, I'm going to answer that question. How do you find a godparent? I'm going to answer that. I know to some people, you know, you like, damn, 2 years. 2 years for initiation. Damn, 2 years. I know for some people, it's like, what? You gotta, an awo year? What you mean an awo year? You gotta go through awo for a year? Like, what? That's a lot. Y'all, in certain ATRs, right? I believe Conduble is 7 years. I believe their process is 7 years. I think I believe Palo is 3 to 7 years as well. So these are not quick processes, but you got to think about it, right? Say if you in your 20s, any young people watching this, 30s, you know, your 20s and 30s, you plan on living till you 80. What's 2 years? You in your 20s, you plan on living till your 80s, you got about 60 years. 30s, you got about 50 years. What's 2 years out of 60? What's 2 years out of 50? What's 7 years out of 60? So in the moment, that may feel like a long time. In the moment, an initiation process taking 2 years, taking a year, taking 7 years, that feels like a long time. But you got a 60-year time of being an Iya, of being a priest or a priestess, right? Of being a Baba. You got, you want to be a Baba Larisha. You have 60, 50, 40 years of this. What is a 2-year process out of that? So that's how you got to look at it. You got to look at the overall. Stop trying to rush the process, babes. Slow it down. Because when you rush the process, all you're doing is rushing yourself into destruction. When you rush the process, all you're doing is rushing yourself into test and into harm. Because you gonna get that discipline one way or another. You gonna get that self-control one way or another. They're gonna teach you how to have discipline one way or another. I suggest you choose and get it on your own before Orisha have to tap that ass and tell you to sit down somewhere and get some discipline about yourself. It's like your parents saying, go sit down. And you don't do it the first time they tell you, and the second time they tell you, and eventually they got to drag your ass back and sit you down. Orisha will drag you back and sit that ass down. I suggest you go get some act right about yourself first before you go playing around with Orisha. Go get some discipline and some self-control about yourself first before you go playing around with the Luau. Please, connect with your Ori. Do some healing. See what aspects of yourself you need to work on. And go do that. Check the balance of your chakras. Okay, tap in. Root to crown. Crown to root. What's blocked? What's not blocked? What's up? What do you need to open up? Get you some discipline. Get you some spiritual practice. How often are you meditating? How often are you connecting with your higher self? How often are you feeding the earth and being abundant to the earth? How often are you going to the water on your own before you are attached to obligation and requirement and responsibility of the Orisha? You should already be doing these things on your own. When you are being courted by your godparent, that's the stuff they're going to teach you. They're going to have you go to the water. They're going to send you on, I can't talk about initiation like that, details of initiation. But I always tell y'all, getting initiated is like being online, right? For a sorority or fraternity. That's what it's like. That's what it's like. Get initiated is like being online for a sorority or fraternity. Okay? So if you are not prepared to be online, then you need to go sit down and go study. I'm not a part of a sorority or fraternity, okay? I'm not a part of it, okay? But I know for sure that before you even go to rush or whatever, before you do anything, yes, I'm holding on. Before you go to do anything, they tell you to go study. Go study your history. Go study. They tell you that. So I'm telling you, go study. Because when you are getting initiated, okay, when you are online, there's going to be certain things that you are required to do. And your godparent is not going to rush you. They're not going to be on you. They're going to send you on certain things you're going to be required to do. And you need to get this stuff done. They're checking for discipline. They're checking to see your control. They're checking all of that because you do not need the ashe, the power of the orisha, okay, if you don't have these things. Now, the price of initiation, okay, yes, they're going to watch you do it on your own. The price of initiation can range. It can range. Initiation can be quite expensive. It can be thousands of dollars, but financial abuse is real. That's why I said you need to study. That's why I said you need to court godparents.